happened? I just don't want the life I have sometimes.
You're really lucky to be alive.
I don't belong here. I'm not crazy.
No!
Just sad.
What would be your plan if you were released?
I have some stuff that I need to work through. You guys doing okay?
The choice could be trusted.
Wanna go get drunk?
I'm not easy to be with. I'm moody and mean. And I have gotten so good at screwing things up.
Hey, wherever you go, I go.
You gave me your love. Show me.
Do you think that you're the only person who knows loss? It's a much scarier choice to choose to live. To get old. To suffer. But at least we're alive. At least we didn't give up.
Boom, there you go. That was a trailer for Continue, arriving in theaters and digital on demand on September 6th. I'm Kuya P. This is Nerds Rule the World, and joining me is the writer, director, the star, Nadine Crocker. Thank you so much for your time today, Nadine.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me.
Definitely. I'm usually very energetic because I'm an empath. And, it's all about the energy you give in this exchange, especially as a filmmaker myself as well. Actors, you want to give that because we know how these press tours can be. So I'm all about that. But I want to start off by just saying thank you. This film was very needed for me. I think, and for a lot of people as well, who had suicide ideations. I had to look at the calendar real quick because it's 2024. Back in 1997, I almost made that choice. And I'm thankfully still here. I'm a proud father. I'm here talking to you because I've told myself I would never do that again. And it's just, I've found strength in that. And I've spoke on that as well. And so I just want to say thank you because it takes a lot to pour your heart out into material and put yourself into these spaces to give this message without heading back into it again. And so just thank you, Nadine, to start us off.
Well, thank you for saying that. Also, thank you for sharing your story. And, it's just it finally getting to share this film, which is such a personal, journey for me. And hearing you say something like that and that you connected with it, it's just everything. It's why I went on this journey.
Thank you. So starting this journey, because and I'm trying to keep it together because it can be rough, right? But I know you've been acting, you've been doing the thing for a while and just amazing. But now you're putting your heart on paper, you're putting yourself into a script, and it's such a personal project. Can you tell me when that started and when you were ready? Because you have to be ready to do something like this.
Yeah, honestly, this journey started over 10 years ago of writing it and I had never written a script before. And it started as just scenes in a class. And I was taking on writing just these scenes just to kind of look at my trauma, look at my struggles, look at those times in my life. And I guess try and figure them out maybe, by putting it on as a character and someone else, as someone else's skin, just to be able to really look at those years. And when I was finished, all of these people would come up to me after and tell me too, tell me that they had the same struggles. They'd start telling me their story. And all of a sudden it became really very real to me that this could be a vessel for getting people to communicate and talk about mental health and to admit their own struggles and to try and chip away at that stigma that's kind of been around forever. And So that started the journey of writing the film. And, I would say midway through, I lost my steam. I lost my confidence. I'm a high school dropout. I have an education of like a 10th grade education because I moved here on my own at 16 and was like, fuck this. I'm going to be a filmmaker. I'm going and so there was a moment where I was like, who are you to write a script? I started to lose that confidence and I put it down for a little minute, and then Robin Williams ended his life. And that was like my idol. Like that was my person. Like when I needed a smile, that's who I put on. And I was like, fuck this. I cannot stand by any longer. I can't. You have a dream, you have a goal, you want to help, you better do the hard work then and sit down and write this film. And that started the journey of writing it, but then creating it was a completely different beast because I was definitely met with a lot of people thinking that the world wasn't ready to discuss mental health and suicide prevention and suicidal ideation. And I just had to say, you're wrong. I think you're wrong. And I think we have to have films like this. And then the pandemic hit. I finished the film, raise it, invest my life savings, raise every dime of capital because I also produced this film and like with my partners. And so we actually make it and we edit it. And the week we're like pretty close to finalizing, the pandemic hits.
Yeah.
Something you could have never planned for the new expenses that would come up because of the pandemic, festivals being shut down and having nowhere to show it. Like all these things happened. And then now I'm trying to sell a film about suicide and depression and suicidal ideation. And everyone's like, people want Ted Lasso. They don't want your film. And I'm just like, I think you're wrong again. I'm going to repeat this because I think now more than ever, we need it.
Oh, yeah.
And I said, we have an approaching pandemic of our own with suicide and the suicide rates, and especially within our youth. I was like, I disagree. And I urge you to change your mind. And really what it took was a premonition, was the suicide rate skyrocketing, it affecting our children like a goddamn virus. And all of a sudden it had rocked so many people's lives that they were like, okay, now I'll look at your film with different eyes. Now I'll actually watch it. Now I'll go on the journey. And then I found distribution and an amazing partner in Lionsgate and Grindstone, Barry Brooker, shout out, I love you. Because he had the confidence to take on a story that is a very poignant drama. And he did it because of the message, because he believed that this film was going to help save lives. And to me, that was like the first person who said yes, like that really believed in what I was trying to, not the first, actually. I had investors, I had a team, I had a crew. We fucking rallied together. You're a filmmaker. It's like, that's your family. And everyone was there to support this cause. But the outside world wasn't necessarily as receptive. And I do feel like that's drastically changed. And I'm so grateful for it, and now I have conversations like this where I'm sitting across from you. And it's just like, I knew it. I knew people were ready. And I knew we could have this conversation, and that's all I really ever wanted to do. Was to help those who are struggling to know they're not alone, that nothing's wrong with them, that there's so many people out there feeling this. But beyond that is to spark a conversation, to get someone to share about it's like you and I just met and you told me your truth, and like you told me your struggles. And like, that is the most rewarding thing to me as a filmmaker, as a human though, because I did it. We got to have this conversation, and maybe the other conversations will be sparked because of it. And like what you touched on when you said that, like, I'm a mother. I look at it now and I'm like, I would have never been a wife. I would have never been a mother. I would have never been a director. I didn't even know I could be a director. And now directing's my life. That's really what my whole entire world is focused on now. So it's just like, you have no idea how much your life can change in a very short period of time. Also, I know for a lot of people who are struggling, it feels like a million years away. It wasn't a million years away. It didn't take as long as I thought, but all it did take was me having the faith to put one foot in front of the other and keep going, to be here tomorrow, to continue on, to live. And now I have a completely different life than I did when I was 23 and struggling. I mean, I'll always have my ups and downs. This isn't something that's cured, but I have so many tools in my toolbox now. Like when it does approach, I know exactly what to do, you know?
Love that. Love you. Woo. So emotional right now. I don't usually get this emotional when I do my interviews, but I'm just feeling all the feelings. Thank you, Nadine. Thank you to your team. Shout out to that support system that we have that helps us when we're broken and picks up those pieces and gets us back up on our feet again, because it's so important. And I love that you shared that, because again, it'll all make us feel, we can all recognize that and understand that, especially when we've gone through it. Whew. Making this film, so then you get everybody together. You're now finally in production. What was it like creating this film, and can we just talk about some of the amazing casts you put together and just the production?
Yeah, what was it like? Pure and utter chaos. No, just but you know, production is nutty, and it really does take an army, and it doesn't matter how big your budgets are, because you're always going to need more money and you're always going to need more time. And the truth is I had a team of warriors around me that took this mission on like their mission. And almost everyone who worked on the film honestly has a tie to mental health, suicide, you know, has someone in their life or had struggled themselves. So I believe that you can feel that in every frame. Like you can feel that this wasn't just a movie to us. It was extremely personal, and it was, you know, our hearts on the screen. So, you know, I think a lot of times too, people feel like it was such a heavy film, it must have been a really heavy process to go through. And it was a family dynamic like I've never felt on a set before. And I hope that I can continue to create that family dynamic on every set I'm on after this, but it was fun. Like we were laughing in between, and it was like, we were telling each other our deepest truths, because you can't do a film like this without in between takes kind of talking about your own story. And it just, the entire process was unbelievable, but not to mention, and like real shout out to my cast. All of them took a chance on me. That's what you're doing when you go with a first time director. You're taking a chance. You're putting your name behind their name. And I could not have made this film without every single one of them, but they were all so incredibly supportive. They were like, how can I help? They weren't like just sitting in their trailer. They're, you know, that didn't exist on this kind of movie, especially within this budget. Like everyone was like, how can I help? What can I do? And they were so present. And, you know, I feel so lucky. I mean, Leo Tipton, Shiloh Fernandez, Emily Deschanel, every single one of them were my soldiers and like my partners in this process, not to mention my husband, who was my producing partner, and my producing partner, Jay Seals, and my DP, who worked with me for like a year for free before we ever got to set, because we knew I know, how did I do that?
Yeah.
Because God was like, hey, here's a gift, you know, because truthfully, if we hadn't done all that prep, I could have never done that movie. I'm in every scene. I am in every single scene. So, and I'm also directing, you know, so it took all those years having our shot list and our vision so dialed in, coming to set 2 hours before any crew call, because we needed to walk everything. I needed to tell him the vision. I wanted to tell him where to do this and how to have it all laid out, go over blocking. So by the time everyone came in, because I'm in a makeup chair, I'm in wardrobe, I'm changing. So we had to be so dialed in those opening 2 hours before anyone was there, so that we could do it, you know, so that we could actually pull this film off with me being the hat wearer of 32 hats.
And it's so hard. And I thank you so much. And we appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Just an amazing job. Just such an important film. I could talk to you for hours just because I feel all the vibes, energy, but I know
I'm like, don't leave. I love you.
I know you got so much more press to do, and I'm thankful that you're doing that, because again, just because of the tone of this film. Ooh, but it's so important. And I know that's why I know you're doing it. And thank you. Nadine Crocker, everybody, writer, director, star of Continue, arriving in theaters, digital, on demand on September 6th. I'm going to close this out. I saw this piece. You have an amazing organization called Continue On. I'm going to throw it to that to close this out because I think it's so important. We're in National Suicide Prevention Month, and I just want to get the word out to promote you and support you. Thank you so much, Nadine.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you so much.
Take care. Everybody, Nadine Crocker, your boy QP, Nerds of the World. Check out Continue On right now.
Yes.
Continue is based on my true story of surviving a suicide attempt when I was 23 and battling with depression in my own personal life. I created this film with the entire mission of saving lives from suicide, to continue to break the stigma that surrounds mental health and to show others out there struggling that they're not alone. We all think we have to hide these things inside, that we can't talk about them, but it's not accurate. The more we talk about them, the more others know that there's nothing wrong with them, that we all have these silent battles that we're going through. And with Continue On, we want to continue to elevate storytelling because you have no idea what one project, what one PSA, one short film, one feature film could do for a person on their lowest day, wondering if their life matters. I know I'm not the only person out there that's been affected by suicide or mental health. I also know that I'm not the only person who's ever felt alone. We have all been affected in one way or another. But now is our chance to do something about it. Every dime donated to the Continue On organization will go to getting mental health services for our youth, for paying and matching them with providers to get them the services they need while they're in this time of struggle. By donating to Continue On, you aren't just giving this organization a life. You could be saving a life.
You have about 10 minutes, and then please keep an eye on your chat box as well.
Wonderful. Thank you, Giselle. Hello, Nadine. It is a pleasure to chat with you.
It's such an amazing opportunity to speak with you too. Is Patrick Strange your real name?
Yes, that's the real name. Kuya P's like the nickname.
That's sick. I was like, what a cool name.
Thank you so much.
Sorry.
No worries. No worries. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Especially because I'm a ball of emotions because I just watched the film earlier and then we'll get into it a little bit. But yes. So let me kind of sit and help me with my edit and we'll have some fun. Thank you so much again, Nadine. And thank you, Giselle. All right, here we go in a 1, 2, 3.